N64 W Attitude, career modes, and titles work. Before we start, subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, share, leave a comment below to think about this wrestling video. With that being said, let's rumble. Let me just say this, folks. With WrestleMania just around the corner, I don't know. Well, I don't. So I'm going to do a video on that as well. Because there's something I did not know. Really, I didn't. I have to apologize to the bloodline once I do this video. But here's something y'all did not know. That in the game known as WWF Attitude, get it, WWF Attitude Career Mode, the walkthrough version 1.0 N64. Let me go ahead and say this right now. The reason I call 1.0 because it is simple and easy to understand. Okay. In WWF Attitude, you have where you go through these events, this path of gaining wrestling your way to the top and gaining a belt or a title in your house, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, back to the first way you started at in your house, and the end game of it all was WrestleMania. Now, the Attitude Era was a little bit crazy, a little bit wild. People went at it like kids in a candy store, just trying to grab the right piece of candy and wonder how much it's gonna cost. Cause if they didn't get it, they would steal it and ran straight out the store. Show you right. Show you right. Now, the first event will be for the European title. See, back in that time, 4 wrestlers held this belt. D'Lo Brown, X-Pac, Christian, and Val Venus. But see, in the career mode of the game, the calendars and descriptions always, recognize the player's skills and abilities. Now, WWF in your house is where you start at. House shows and stuff. This is the European title. And no, I'm not. When you go through it all and battle 20 other wrestlers just to gain this belt, the best people who you might end up challenging and defending and have grudge matches with is either D'Lo Brown or Christian. And you're like, what do you mean D'Lo Brown? Because D'Lo Brown was always hardcore by holding this title belt. Yeah, Christian, he goofed around with it. Because that's the only person you will face at the end of the whole thing. Because the pay-per-view was always be in your house. Then there's the IC title, known as the Intercontinental title, which is certain Ukrainian hold right now. When you start out, you might, end up facing The Rock, King Shamrock, Val Venus, Road Dogg Jesse James, D'Lo Brown, and Goldust. Because, well, Goldust did hold the belt most time. And more than to say this, if you was to work through the Sunday Night Heat, events, oh, you would have had a problem. No, you would have had a hard time. Why? Because that's how it goes. Because with WWF No Mercy, because when time you ever get a chance to face off for the IC title, it'll be mostly at SummerSlam. Now you're like, mostly? What? Because that's where you usually, go off with. And to put it to you lightly, if you was to either uh run through the whole, career mode calendar, you would either fight off against Road Dogg Jesse James or Goldust. Mostly Road Dogg Jesse James at that time. Because, well, Billy Gunn helped them out to keep that belt. And that says a lot. It just says a lot. Really does. Then we had the tag team career mode, as in multiplayer career mode. Edge and Christian, APA, Bradshaw and Farouk, Rock and Sock Connection with Mankind and The Rock, the New Age Outlaws, and Kane and Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction. Now, you will have to run through a tough spot of a tag team division. But when it comes to tag team, the best way to show off your skills is one place, and that's Raw. Now you're like, what? Yes, yeah, what? What? What you talking about? Because mostly matches that was big and high class was always on the main event roster shows like Raw or SmackDown. And if you was to face these guys at WrestleMania, it would either be, well, Eric Bischoff and Farouk, known as the APA, or the New Age Outlaws, who was part of DX. And, well, the Brother of Destruction never really learned how to hold those titles together at that time, so sorry. No offense. Mostly the New Age Outlaws was, in control of most part of the tag team at the time. For the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. I ain't gonna lie. Because with Rock and Mankind, they wanted the single belts, not the tag teams. But you won't really want to have a main event at WrestleMania in this game. For what title? The most famous title of them all, heavyweight. And the people who you might end up facing at the time would have been Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, The Rock, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, and Triple H. Or known as called Hunter Holmes Helmsley. Because once again, if you want to stack up your status as a true champion, you have to go through one of the best shows of the main roster, and that is Raw is War. fascinating. Because if you was to run through the whole calendar of your career mode of Raw, you know, mostly Raw, you will face these four guys, really. HBK, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and Undertaker. But really, who you really would have faced most of the time, would be these three guys. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Undertaker. Because, well, for the Attitude Era, The Rock was not mostly there. He was being The Rock. Wow, what a fascinating ordeal here. So, with that being said, I'm your boy Chris Blackthorn Harris. When it comes to my wrestling style, I'm not just a powerhouse. I'm also a technician.